Part two, artist in recovery slash Daryl P. How you doing? 6:31 in the morning, West Coast time. I can barely see the damn clock because my glasses need to be adjusted. So is my eyes. It's February 2nd, 2025. It's sun coming up out here in the West Coast. The Weaver Johnson here, Roseman, California. A bid you greetings, sir. Shall we continue on with our explanation? I mean, it's nice for you to talk about hope regarding recovery, but the mechanisms, dude, the mechanisms, the process, that's important. Don't you understand that? And I thought you went to 12-step meetings. Good Lord, man. Do I got to teach everything to you? We're about the same age bracket, but I swear to God, we're. Does it take a newcomer or a 90-dayer to explain a program to a veteran how he understands? Because I'll tell you something, in the meeting halls that I've gone to, I've heard it from so many veterans to the rookie. You sit down, shut up, and listen because you don't know your ass from a hot rock. The nest was like that. Screw the Valley Club in the San Fernando Valley. I mean, the Nest was it. The Nest was the hardcore, battle hardened group. They've been battling the damn disease for a hell of a lot longer than I realized. I was hearing experience, strength, and hope in these guys who had serious time and had serious commitment. A lot worse than you. Oh, God. The one guy, Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez. The guy had been in the system. The guy had been in and out of the system, but he remembered, and he'd been in a different system of recovery. The guy had the hardest, strongest recovery ever. It's like healing. Oh, Charlie tapes, or worse. There was a sponsor passed away almost within the past couple of decades. I wish I remember this guy's name's going to be screaming out to me shortly. But he had one of the strongest sobrieties out there that he helped a lot of people, staked a lot of reputation in his own personal finances and stuff to help other people out. Somewhere in his YouTubes there are meetings about this guy. Clancy was the name. Thanks, Dave. Clancy. This guy's a legend in the meeting halls. I've been hearing about Clancy for a hell of a long while from my brother and from other people in the recovery out here in the West Coast. This guy was a rock star. God rest his soul, God bless his soul. He was part of my brother's recovery. He helped my brother's recovery in a way. They had an animosity, but when my brother and I actually experienced, gone through our mother's passing, and we had gotten settled in a different location before this one here. Dave had to call out to Clancy. I think one way or another, they called out to each other. And they connected. No animosity. No regrets. Resentment's gone. Amendment's done. I didn't realize it at the time. In one way or another, there was a higher power working through people to help other people get recovered. You talk about how you're going through recovery, my man. You didn't talk about it. Not enough of it. I'd get on the podium and talk about it, but unless you've walked it, you can't talk about it. That's one thing seeing the mechanism. You got to go through the damn mechanism. You got to understand that this shit kicks your ass. And that's the message I keep hearing every time I kept watching the podium all the time. Is this damn thing kicked my fucking ass. And I heard people talk about it in the general terms like that. They say recovery is fucking possible only if you're going to be doing the fucking steps. I've heard a few hardcore people talk like that. Only if you do the damn steps and actually follow them, there is a chance that you will recover. A day at a time. Sometimes it takes a minute at a time. At the daily reprieves that we go through. But we have to do the steps. We have to do what it takes to stay clean, to stay sober, to stay sane, to stay sane. The second portion of it says, came to believe that there's a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. This is one of the hardest things because now we have to understand that there is a greater essence out there than we know of. That there is a force of nature we cannot measure. But through direct or indirect ways of communicating to us, we're told it is possible. It's hope. It's something to glom and grab and hold on to for everything you got. And the hardest thing is to do is to understand this is going to put you through everything necessary to get you past this damn whatever it is that you're going through. You have to believe, you have to understand that this is a force of nature that cannot be measured by instruments of any sort that man can put out. You feel it in here. You may not understand the thought patterns coming in here very soft, very silently, but sometimes powerful enough to scream and get your attention. I did. I didn't understand until it was my time almost to kill myself. And I was reminded. I wasn't alone in this. And I wasn't sane. But I heard, felt, sometimes the English language has no words. There may be another way or another word out there in a different language, but not translatable to me. But figure this expression out. It's about fucking time. Or it's about damn time. But if I'm going to start putting God's name in front of that one, I'm going to get my ass kicked on that one. So it's about fucking time you get your head out of your ass. My brother all the time would tell me, would ask me for a long while, where's your faith and trust in God? Sometimes I said Cleveland or last train to Clarksville. These days, reminding me, that's where he is, Dave, reminding me. It may sound like what, but it's also where. He's reminding me. One way or another. And there's nothing wrong about it, dude. There's nothing wrong about talking about the steps. That's out there. All you got to do is plug it into the Google, and people would read the damn thing. And some people are like, it's just Alcoholics Anonymous. What's the deal with me? Well, I'll tell you one thing. The stories I've told earlier on in my logs that you got a whiff of, and you know we became political and everything else going on in life. But sometimes we have to go back to the basics of why we do our channel the way it is. You do yours, I do mine. I'm reminded by looking at this damn thing, I still need to reread the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and consider that this is the most important thing in my life. Back then and now. Because it's still trying to save my ass. And if I can't understand that, then I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Because this is important. This right now is important. And if I don't continue to follow this damn thing, if I don't continue to do this damn thing, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore, to tell you the truth. This is the hardest damn thing. And right now, it's what's needed. It's what needed. So, What do I do? What do I do? We follow the steps, my friend. We follow the steps. Third one. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. What the hell does that mean? What are we turning it over to who? To what? What are you talking about? And this is the reason why people keep going over to the meeting halls left and right, is to keep reiterating and keep looking at the book, because it gives us simple instructions, simple steps, simple instructions, and it still goes over our damn heads. The thing that you had mentioned about your recovery, will, megalomania, the self, the id, me versus you. I'm me. You're just you. Who the hell are you? I want. I don't care what you want. I want. I want a belt. I want. Give it to me. You got me hooked on this damn thing. Now I want more. You will give it to me. And you know what the other person's saying? Well, let's talk about that, shall we? Over a dramatic characterization, but you know, it's there. In the background, laughing at your ass. We could talk about the politics trying to be affecting in this situation over here. We could talk about how the tariffs are going to be screwing people over left and right, but we're also talking about recovery. So let's switch on that instead of the tariffs. I can do another video about that one a little bit later now, can't I? But how do I make a decision to turn my life and my will over to a power greater than myself? Don't you know who I am? I'm an ego. I'm an maniac. I'm an addicted person over here. And I demand, I insist that you give it to me now. Because if you don't, I'm going to be awfully pissed off about it. How many times, Daryl? How many times have we seen it out there in the streets? How many times have we both gone through it? I'm an isolator. I didn't want to deal with anybody else, but I have to isolate. My self-protective nature at this point over here is not pounding on people, getting what I want to feed my damn chemical pleasure. I just want to hide. I just want to disappear. I don't want to deal with you folks. But I got an addictive nature myself that wants. I don't want to deal with anybody. I don't even want to deal with my family, but I got to have my family. My family's not the addiction. I couldn't identify what my addiction was if I wanted to. My thought patterns a long time. Too damn scared. Too damn frightened. Unsure about everything else. I could drink it away if I wanted to. Drink it oblivion. Being out of control freak, but my nature was fear and isolation. Fear and isolation. Where's the love for the family? Where's the love and being supportive to the family? Yeah, I'll be supportive to them one way or another. I'll try to laugh as much as I can, but leave me the fuck alone. In the early days of the damn disease, it didn't matter. My brother was trying to get his love back, his soul back, and to be connected again with me and Ma. And all I could do is watch his ass because I needed someone to protect my own six. So I protected his ass. Mutual thing going on. But did I love him a long time ago? I didn't even love myself. Are you kidding me? I didn't even love myself on this one, Daryl. I mean, come on. You know what the horrible thing about this whole thing that I kept thinking about? I had been touched and graced by this powerful, intense love. Age 4 years old, I was saved by it and came to fear it afterwards. Scared the crap out of me. Dude, I died 3 times on a frickin' operating table. Surgeons cracked open the chest, opened the heart, trying to repair the damage, and I kept dying in them too many damn times. Once was enough. Twice, bad enough. 3 times, great. I wasn't surviving this damn thing. If I died 4 times, I was going back and up in heaven. Or how many times or somebody else was trying to tell me, get back, it's not your time yet. You're talking about anger and resentment towards a power that's trying to save your ass and everybody else that got this lifelong thing against it. I got marks. I got physical marks of how it happened back when I was the age of 4 years old, dude. I had been touched 2 more times in my youth. And after that, silence. Nothing. I kept blaming that all the time. But I wasn't taking accountability, responsibility, or transparency at this point over here. I wasn't taking anything of it. I wasn't admitting I was part of the damn problem. Because I kept blaming that all the time. It was God's problem. It was God's fault. It was a higher power trying to save my ass, and I can't stand it. I was afraid. Pure afraid on this one, dude. I don't think I ever talked about it in meeting halls enough on this damn thing. I don't think I even talked to anybody else about this shit. It scared the hell out of me, Daryl. To the point I didn't even know who and what this is anymore. I could look at the words. I could try seeing the words. Do they understand? Am I understanding it? I could keep praying and talking as if it's a real person, but do I really know? I had to be reminded. I have to be reminded. And it's not that easy to do that. Especially with my egomaniac running so damn hot these days. And I've got to be humbled and humiliated to understand it more and more. I've got to. My life, my soul depends upon it. My recovery depends upon it. I am not recovered. I am in recovery. A daily reprieve. It must be talked about. It must be shared. If we're talking about hope, we got to be opening up ourselves even worse. You talk about the faith and hope like crazy at this point, but you're not talking about the mechanism and how it got you in that. Well, maybe you have been, and I haven't been paying attention as much. And that's on me. You're telling your story. I'm not listening to it because I thought I heard it all. Sometimes we have to keep telling the story time after time while we're on the podium and not realizing there's a person out there that's going to need to hear it. Everyone's like, I heard this before. Maybe somewhere in there has to be a reminder. There has to be a reminder of recovery. I was everything to my brother. For 32 years. He almost came on 33 before he passed. But 32 years he was considered an old-timer. And he still didn't know his asthma hot rock. And he wanted to go back to meetings. He just physically and mentally wasn't able to get back to it there. I know what he feels. Because sometimes you need a connection. Sometimes you need to hear. Sometimes you hear the message one way or another. Sometimes, I know you can read the big book again and again and again, but still. Someone else's reinterpretation of the damn thing or their own experiences leaps at us and says, I recognize that. It's like epiphany kicking in our heads. In a way, we are turning our will and our everything we have into the care of a power greater than ourselves that restores to us sanity. Third step, made a decision. A decision! A choice! To turn our will and our lives, everything of ours, to a care of God as we understood him or her, however, what format. It was even joked in the 12-step meetings about a damn doorknob being a higher power. Some people actually did that. Some people actually used the collective group of a meeting hall in there as the power greater themselves. It's been done. It's been done. But for me, I have to be reminded one way or another. I have to be tapped on the shoulder. It has to be listening to a voice deep and down inside, trying to get my attention, one way or another. You're saying recovery is possible. Help with the message, yeah. But how is the thing you need to reiterate again and again and again, the mechanisms of recovery. Part 3 coming up.